everyone, and welcome to Locked On Flames. Today, I am joined by Rebecca Johnston, three-time gold medalist for Team Canada, as we talk all about her career, her favorite gold medal, and how player development camp with the Calgary Flames went.
You're Locked On Flames, your daily podcast on the Calgary Flames. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to today's very special episode of Locked On Flames. As always, I'm Jess Belmosto, and thank you so much for hanging out with us. You can follow this show on Twitter at LO_FlamesPod, and you can find the show wherever you get your favorite podcasts, Spotify, Apple, Audible, free on YouTube as well. Join the conversation in the live chat below. Let's talk some hockey, and let's jump right into this interview. Rebecca, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm good. This is very exciting. A lot of people are messaging me about this interview and saying, it's great to have a Sudbury legend on the pod.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So figured we could go all the way back in time and, talk about, what got you into hockey, a little bit about yourself, and, what was it like growing up in Canada playing hockey?
Yeah, I think, well, for me, first off, I'm from Sudbury, Ontario, and I grew up in a very large family. So I have 5 siblings. We all played hockey. We all played actually a bunch of different sports. But hockey was kind of the main sport in my family. My dad played. So that's how I started. That's how I got into it. I had 2 older sisters and an older brother that were playing at the time when I started. And so I just, always looked up to my older siblings and wanted to be like them. So I started to play and fell in love with the game. And obviously Canada, hockey is a huge sport, a lot of support. And, it's all you really do in Canada is like in the winter time is just go out in the outdoor rink. And that's kind of how I started playing in the outdoor rink with my siblings. And that's when the true passion began.
That's awesome. How old were you when you realized, this could be something a little bit bigger than just playing, locally?
Yeah, I started playing when I was 4, and I played on the same team as my 2 older sisters and older brother. So there's quite a big age gap. So I did a lot of skating around. I learned how to skate, I guess, because I didn't touch the puck a whole lot, but I was having fun and skating around, just being with everybody, and that's the first part of, when I really realized that I do love playing as a young kid. And so from then on out, I started playing. I played guys hockey growing up and then switched over to girls in high school and then ended up at Cornell University. So that's kind of a little bit of how I started, but I started at age 4.
That's really young. I think if you talk to most 4-year-olds, they're putting like the blocks in the shape and lining things up and, learning maybe to write their name, but learning to skate and all that is also a very useful skill for you. Obviously, it's blossomed into a lot more than that. And you talked about Cornell. That's in New York. So how far is that from where you grew up, and why did you choose Cornell?
Yeah, it's about like an 8-hour drive from Sudbury. It's not too far from the border. And so, I have 2 older sisters that played hockey at university as well. So my oldest sister went to Harvard and then my other one went to Cornell. And so for me, growing up, I played boys hockey. And kind of my goal growing up was to make it to the NHL one day. And so for me, I wasn't too familiar with going to school or scholarships or anything like that until my sisters went. And then I really, buckled down, started to focus on school, my grades. Growing up, my parents were always hard on all of us and wanted to make sure that we were getting good grades in school was number one before sports. So that was always instilled in us. And so for me, I knew I wanted to go to Harvard or Cornell. So I was just picking between the two, and my sisters were fighting over trying to persuade me to go to their school. And but Cornell just seemed to fit well. Really liked the coach and where he was taking the team. Doug Darrow, and the Cornell campus is just beautiful, and obviously both great academic schools. So I knew I wanted to go to Ivy League, and so Cornell, I think, just fit with my type of lifestyle better. And I had the best 4 years of my life there. So it was a great school, and loved playing for Cornell Big Red.
Yeah. And, you have a very impressive resume from Cornell, and you were the first player to be named ECAC hockey and receive first team ECAC hockey, and receive Rookie of the Year honors unanimously. What was that like? Like, because you had to be 18 years old around that time, and it's a whole
I think at that time, like, Cornell is definitely rebuilding. Like my first year, I think the year before I went there, they won four or five games, and this new coach was definitely transitioning and getting some good players. And so first year, it was definitely a learning curve for me. I mean, I always grew up at home. Like, I was always with my parents. I've always had that guidance, and then going off to university and being on your own and having to learn that you need to go to class and you need to do all this, can't slack, and you need to prioritize your time, because being a varsity athlete is challenging with just lack of time, because you're so committed to training and being on the ice as well.
Mm-hmm.
So so I was obviously proud of what I'd accomplished my first year, and I think every year just continued to improve, and I continued to get better, and juggle being a student athlete as well, and but also really focusing on hockey and trying to improve every year. And I think I really grew as a person and a player.
That is a lot. I mean, it's a lot to go away to school, even if you're just doing academics, but to learn to balance, the culture shock with varsity sports and the social aspect and academics, you really have to have it figured out. So that's impressive on top of everything else. All right, everyone. I hope that you are enjoying the episode and the interview so far. But before we get too much further into this, let's just take a quick break to talk about one of our sponsors. And that sponsor is BetOnline. As always, please gamble responsibly when you are using BetOnline. BetOnline.net is the fastest and easiest way to check all of your betting needs. Find your favorite sports and events at the #1 online source for odds, lines, and games. Find reviews and news for every league: Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, and golf. BetOnline continues to be your top online resource for all the sports wagering information, from live in-game betting, scores, and podcasts. And you know that BetOnline has you covered, and I would never steer you in the wrong direction. BetOnline, where the game starts. Championships. What was that like? Were you playing while in college, or was that post academia?
Yeah, so I started playing on the national team. I made my first team when I was still in high school in grade 12. I was an alternate for that World Championship team in 2007. So that was my first experience with the national team, and I had gone to a few conditioning camps before that when I was younger, but that was kind of the big step for me. They wanted to get me some experience and just be there. So I actually ended up missing a lot of school for grade 12. And then from then on out, I had made the team. So 2008, my first year at university, I made the World Championship team. So I mean, every semester you miss at least a month of school. So it was really challenging. Yeah, we're World Championships, you're gone for about 3.5 weeks to a month almost. So I really needed to make sure I was on top of school and also being able to be in the present and focusing on hockey when I'm there. And So that was challenging. And again, it was every year that I had to miss school and try to focus on both things, being at Cornell, competing with the Cornell team as well as the national team. So having those commitments, it was a huge sacrifice. I mean, I had to sacrifice a lot socially, and but obviously well worth it. And after my second year, after my sophomore year, I centralized with the national team, so I took a year off. So I didn't go back to Cornell until the following year. So I had a year off with the national team and ended up making that Olympic team in 2010, which kind of started my career off, and because obviously my ultimate goal was to make that Olympic team. So that was a dream come true. And then was able to go back to Cornell the last 2 years after that Olympic year.
Yeah. And what was it like playing in the Olympics overall? Like your experience, the routine, playing with other women who, are there representing Canada?
I mean, to play again, like my goal ever since the 2002 Olympics, seeing that Canadian men and women both win a gold medal in Salt Lake City was, kind of the time where I truly wanted to play for the national team and win a gold medal for my country. And so that's when the goal had started. And that's kind of when I realized that, there are other things that I can accomplish with hockey. And I didn't realize that a lot of girls did play hockey. I mean, I grew up in a small town or small city, and there wasn't a lot of girls playing hockey at the time. So it was definitely a dream come true, making that 2010 team and playing with all these amazing players that you grew up watching on TV: Haley Wickenheiser, Carol Millette, Jana Heffer, all these players that are huge role models for me. And I was able to play on their team and be able to learn and grow and learn from all of these amazing players. And so it's a remarkable year. You really grow. Like, I grew so much as a player. I learned so much. And after that year of just, you're with these amazing players all year round, competing and trying to win a gold medal. So you really grow as a person and as a hockey player. So it was pretty remarkable to be surrounded by so many outstanding role models for me.
Yeah, that's incredible. And, with a lot of, at least this past year, there were talks of the NHL going to the Olympics, and then obviously that didn't happen, but players just kept saying what an honor it would be to play for your country, to represent your country. And, I think that that's an incredible goal to have for, when, like you said, you were young watching them win the gold. So it's incredible. I don't know. I'm not athletic in the slightest, which is why I host a podcast. So, it's incredible to watch. And you also had you did some time with the CWHL. What was that like? And before the unfortunate folding of the league?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely an adjustment. Graduating from college, you're so spoiled when you're in college. Like, you have everything you need, like ice times every day, whenever you want to go on the ice. If you need tutors, if you have a trainer, you have like grade A facilities to train at, and then just great players to play with. And so, I having to transition into like after college and playing in the CWHL, where your ice times were till like later 9:30 at night. And when my first year in Toronto, when I played in Toronto for a year, it was it's just challenging. It was a lot different, but at the same time, it was really cool experience as well. Like, I was playing with a lot of national team players, played in that league, and so I was playing a lot against a lot of like even U.S. players played in that league as well. And so the competition was great, and then you learn to just do things on your own and have to figure it out. Like, you go to a trainer. Hockey Canada is great if you're part of that program, because they set up ice and for us to skate as well.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you have a trainer and a gym, and you're able to go and train. But it just wasn't as easy as college, where everything was kind of in the same facility and everything. So, but it was definitely a lot of fun. I transitioned from Toronto after my first year in Toronto. I it was another centralization year, and then it ended up after that staying in Calgary after centralization, and haven't moved since because I love it out here. I love the mountains, and the Calgary Inferno was an awesome team. Was able to win a couple of Clarkson Cups with them, so that was pretty special as well.
Yeah, everybody who has moved to Calgary and that stayed there has always said the same thing. Like, it's an unreal experience just being in like the beautiful mountains and the scenery and everything. I'm jealous, but I live in upstate New York, so like I have the Adirondacks, but they don't compare to the pictures I see from Calgary, but
Yeah.
it's still something.
Yeah.
And you're still playing with the PWHPA. How is that? What's that like? And I've seen some rumors of a permanent team. I don't know how much you can talk about that, but a permanent team in Calgary for, women's league.
Yeah, so I think a lot is kind of up in the. I still don't really know a whole lot, to be honest. But we're definitely working hard towards creating a sustainable league that will last. So we don't have to deal with another folding like the CWHL. We want something that is sustainable and something that girls could aspire to play in one day. And because I was like growing up, for me, I wasn't fortunate enough to be able to see like women play on TV or women play anywhere around me. Like, I couldn't travel to see a game or anything like that. And so it would be great to have this league and be able to, and just for girls that are younger girls that can actually have access to watching us play, and just have role models. And it's always great to have aspire to play somewhere or have goals and dreams. And so I'm hoping this league will help with that. And I think we are in the right direction, and we're getting closer and closer. So I think we'll hear more soon in the next couple months for sure. But we're just trying to get organized here. And there's a training group here right now in Calgary, which is nice. So we can train here together. And yeah, we'll see how the rest goes. But I do see the progress, and hopeful for women's hockey in the future for sure.
That's so exciting. And it's about leaving the sport better than you found it. And like you said, if you want the younger girls who are growing up now to have something to look up to, and to be able to turn on TV and be able to say, that's what I want to do, or that's who I want to model my game after. And we are going to take our final break here before we wrap up the interview with the most exciting Locked On Flames guest we've probably ever had and will ever have. Speaking of, developing the game and developing as a player, what was your experience like coaching the Calgary Flames development camp?
Yeah, it was an awesome experience. I mean, I never really saw myself, on that side of things. Obviously, as a player, it's a lot different. Like, you're on the ice and you're focused and you're competing and you're trying to get better. And then on the other side of things, it's now trying to help and other players improve. And on that coaching side of things, it was definitely a new experience, but also really exciting and a great experience for me. And I learned a lot throughout the week, and I'm very thankful for the opportunity that Flames gave me to just be a part of it. It was a great learning experience for me.
How did it come about? Did you get a call from Brad Treliving? Did someone from the coaching staff call you?
Yeah, like I talked with Brad Treliving, and he had mentioned this opportunity and asked if I would be interested. And so I obviously jumped on it and was thrilled to have that experience. And then I'll then talk with Ray Edwards a lot as head of development. And he was kind of the person, the go-to person that I had dealt with. But it was great. I mean, never thought I'd have that experience. So it was awesome to take part in that and just see how the NHL side works, how the Flames work, and like what things they're teaching their prospects and how to become, that overall professional player that they want to see in years to come. And so it was really cool to see like how they do things and what they're teaching them and all that. So
yeah. Do you, down the road, do you see yourself kind of maybe going back to a role like that full time, or, whether it be coaching or player development?
Yeah, I think I did enjoy it a lot more than I thought I would, which is really great. So I know coaching is not, I don't really want to coach, like I don't want to coach a team.
Mhm.
But definitely skill development, like trying to help players, being able to pick out skills and seeing it on video and helping. I think um, I've learned a lot throughout my career, so I feel like I can definitely have some insight on that, and definitely something of interest right now. And so we'll see how it goes. And but was really excited for that opportunity, and I was pleasantly surprised how much I did enjoy it, which was great.
That's awesome. And what stood out to you? Did any specific players stand out, or like the speed or any of their talent, anything like that?
Yeah, there are definitely some great players there, and I know it's kind of like an awkward time because they hadn't a lot of the players didn't skate a whole lot leading up because they're obviously some of them just finished their seasons about 3 weeks ago to a month. So you have like after a long season, you need to take some time off. So it was an interesting time for them, but it also was just more of a time to get them on the ice and just kind of see their general skills set and a lot of learning off the ice. Like a lot of focus was off the ice and trying to um, teach them what's important to become a professional athlete. Like what are the important things that you need to focus on, like nutrition, sleep, media, like how to deal with social media and media. And so just a lot of learning tools for them to take away and try to continue to work on throughout their career and wherever they're playing this coming season. And so it was a really cool experience, and the guys were very talented. It was fast paced, kind of what I expected it to be. It was a great camp overall.
That's awesome. And before we wrap this up, I have a question.
Mhm.
Do you have a favorite gold medal, and why?
Yeah, I get this question a lot, and it's like hard to answer because I do, and like two of them, well, like three of them are like, so I have three and they're all pretty special. I mean, my first one making the team when I was young, like 20 years old. And so my first Olympics, it was special. It was also in Canada and Vancouver. So that was also really special to be able to play in front of a home crowd. And I had 10 family members there. So that was probably the most special because it was just my first Olympics, and it's when my dreams came true. And I finally, made it. And just seeing the emotion and on my parents' face, because obviously like my parents are a huge part of my success and they've sacrificed so much for me. So it's just, yeah, like it's great to be able to share that experience with them. So that was really special, 2010. And then 2014 was just the way we won. I don't know if you remember, but we were down 2 goals, 3 minutes left, and we tied it up and then won in overtime, and the puck hit the post and all this stuff. So so that was like just the way our team came together and battled through and believed in one another. And we really had a tough year leading up to that, and lost. I can't even remember how many games in a row we lost to the States, but it was quite a bit leading up to the Olympics. And so being able to turn that around, and we got a new coach a month before the Olympics. So there's just a lot of adversity that we had to deal with as a team. And so that was probably like my most proudest moment of coming back and being united as one team and believing in one another.
Mhm.
It was a pretty special win. And then the most recent one is just like, it was just such a tough year in general, like with COVID, and a lot of stresses and unknowns, and the plans changed every day almost. You had to just go with the flow, and we dealt with so much adversity. It was insane. Like a lot of world championships being canceled leading up to that. And so there was a lot that had happened, and a lot of like bubbling and having to be stuck in a hotel and trying to just like work out and with minimal equipment and being stuck in a room and all that stuff, so that we didn't get COVID and we were healthy and leading up going to the Olympics. And so it was a really challenging year for everybody. And so to be able to win the way we did and have like an outstanding tournament was pretty special. So I honestly I can't even tell you which one, because they're like different reasons of why they're so special, right? And
yeah.
But I guess if I had to go with one, it would just be my first one, because of,
that's fair.
So
yeah. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I greatly appreciate it. Where can people find and follow you to see what you're up to in the game, growing the game?
Yeah, well, I'm on Twitter and Instagram. I don't have TikTok yet. But yeah, my handles are just Johnston6. So
perfect.
For both. Yeah.
So hopefully this upcoming fall will be good to you. And do you have any plans? Are you going to go back to the PW?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm kind of taking it day by day. I honestly have had a great break after the Olympics and trying to figure out my next steps and my next move, and still love the game. And so we'll see what happens. I'm trying to figure out a little bit. I have a little bit of some back issues and stuff, but no, it's been a great summer so far, and I'm just honestly trying to take it day by day, and then we'll see how it goes from there.
Well, best of luck to you. I greatly appreciate you joining me, and hopefully we can chat again soon.